You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Christopher, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time. Make sure you're subscribed. Text the word SUCCESS to 813-333-2676, and we'll send you messages whenever it is we go live to share with you this information to help you grow your real estate business. And that's what we focus on State of Real Estate every Friday, is what information do you need to know, not to earn a license, but to be successful with that real estate license. Because no one gets a real estate license just to have the license. You want to do something with it, even if it's just use it for your own purposes. It could be for something as easy and simple and low key as just earning referral commissions, or it could even be for going out and becoming a top producing real estate agent, maybe someday transitioning into being a real estate investor. There's so many possibilities out there once you have your real estate license. It opens a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities that are right there under your nose you might not even know about. So we've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about how to choose a broker, activating your license, commission splits, as well as any questions you have. We should have the live chat up on tampaschoolofrealestate.com right below the video. On Facebook, I've got that loaded up here with the chat. YouTube, we've got the chat loaded up. So wherever it is you may be tuning in from today, welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. Let me know where you're tuning in from, where you're at in the licensing process. Did you just get your real estate license? Do you not have one yet? What are you looking at to get the most out of today's episode? For everyone that's here live and everyone watching the recording, welcome in as well. And remember, you could always call or text us at 813-333-2676 to reach out to one of our advisors confidentially to answer any questions you have to help you advance your real estate career. So we've got a really great show for you today. Can't wait to share all this information. My name is John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate. Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam, because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Carissimo, and in case this is the first time we're meeting here, I'm a Florida Real Estate Commission certified instructor. I also am a broker who holds multiple broker licenses, have a lot of agents that hang their license under me, and on top of that, I'm also the director of Tampa School of Real Estate. So I've got a lot of information that goes beyond your average real estate school or your average instructor that doesn't have multiple brokerages, that doesn't have the experience that not just myself, but the entire team that we've got here at the Tampa School of Real Estate in terms of helping you advance your real estate career. We've seen a lot of things, and not only have we helped tens of thousands of people get their real estate licenses to be used throughout Florida. We're actually over 40 countries worldwide now we've had students take our classes from. So we're really proud of that, just because there's so many opportunities, and that's what we're here to do. We're on a mission to help people understand how to make money with these ideas that we talk about here. Yes, there's the FREC requirement, like your pre-licensing course. So if you're brand new to all of this, you're required to take a 63-hour course. And that's what that commercial was just playing about the exam prep tools, because passing that exam might not always be as easy as it may seem. And that's because there's a lot of laws and rules they test you on that are things that are not the most exciting, the most interesting. And that's what a lot of your pre-licensing course is about. However, Once you get into post-licensing, the curriculum is completely different. As a matter of fact, I'd highly recommend as soon as you have your license to enroll in one of our post-licensing courses. Personally, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I teach the course, but we have a video-based on-demand course. So if you like watching my videos, I can guide you through this curriculum in a video-based interactive type of format. So we have that option available. We have a text-based option. We have live instructors. They can teach it online or in person. Reach out to us if you need to get that post-licensing requirement done, because like I said, that's going to help provide a lot of the foundational elements if you're looking for more beyond what we talk about today. And one more time, I'll put this on the screen. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on these updates, text the word success to 813, and this is the same phone number you could call or text us anything on, 333-2676. 813-333-2676. Oh, look at that. It transformed it right into text. Thank you, AI. Thank you, computer robot overlords. That's really neat. They're like, you know what? Your writing is really terrible. Let's make it so people could actually read that. That's neat. That's the first time this board's ever done that. Maybe it's got some sort of update or something. Anyways, yeah, text the word success to 813-333-2676. You can call or text us anything at that number, but this will specifically get you subscribed to our Success Center update list so you get text messages whenever it is that we have content to help you grow your business. So after you're licensed, you don't yet have your license, we could help you out with that. If you're in the process, great, as long as you've got this moving forward. But if you haven't started anything yet, reach out to us, 813-333-2676, so we can go over what those next steps are just to get the license, and then we get you up to speed with today. Matter of fact, Wednesday, we did this fastest way to get your real estate license. So if you go right on our Success Center at tampaschoolrealestate.com, the most recent episode of Ask the Instructor, it's about how to get the license. So if you haven't seen that, that's a really good one if you're in the licensing process. But today, we're focusing on the next steps after you're licensed. All right, come on, AI, do your thing. I don't know. I must have clicked something or something that made it do that. Anyways, so after you're licensed, number one thing you need to do. This could be if you're planning on doing real estate full-time, if you're planning on doing real estate part-time, if you're planning on just doing referrals, if you're planning on doing commercial, if you're planning on doing businesses, if you're planning on anything. Step number one is to have a plan. Notice I kept saying you planning on this, planning on that. You have to have a plan. And not just a plan of I'm going to get my license and sell real estate. That's not a plan. That's an idea. Ideas are difficult to execute on without planning, especially when this is new, especially when you don't know what you're doing yet. And you might say, well, John, how do I know? Well, what do I do? How do I have a plan when I don't know what to actually do? Therein lies the problem. The problem isn't that you don't have a plan. The problem is that you don't know what to plan or what details to plan, essentially. You might have the plan of doing real estate, maybe doing it full-time or doing it part-time. You're going to need a lot more of a plan than just that. And that's where post-licensing will help you build that plan. Post-licensing will help you understand more of the real-world side of real estate because there isn't a state exam that we're trying to prepare you for post-licensing. There is an end-of-course exam, but it's pretty straightforward and easy compared to your state exam, which is about a bunch of random laws and rules and a million different things you've got to study and all that. This is completely different, and that's one of the things that steers a lot of people away from taking that post-licensing course as soon as they have their real estate license, because if you're able to make it through, I shouldn't say if, I would say when you're able to make it through, because that's the only thing. There's just a lot of people that give up on this before they even take their exam. They psych themselves out, so don't let you do that. The number one tip back from Wednesday, if you're in the licensing process, is the basically one surefire guaranteed way to make the licensing process more difficult is to make it take longer. The longer you take to go through that licensing process, the more difficult it'll be. I know firsthand because when I got my license, it was over a year. Little over a year, maybe about like 14 months, let's call it, that it took me from enrolling in the course to going on and passing my exam. Now you might be saying, wow, John, why did it take you so long? Well, I was working full-time at a full-time job, and I was also going to school at the same time. And so it was another thing that was, I'll get it done when I get it done. I'll go take the state when I take it. And all that time that went by from when I took the course to when I finally got around taking the state, or actually really finally started to study, and I wasn't even planning on studying until I did a practice exam and realized I had no idea, and not only had I forgot most of the information, but this wasn't just a common sense test that you could fake it till you make it through. And so I had a rough time going through that pre-licensing process. I was able to pass on my first try, but I made it really difficult on myself by dragging it out. So then when it came time for post-licensing, there was no guy on a video back then telling me I should go take post-licensing as soon as possible. What did I look at post-licensing as? A renewal requirement, renewal nonsense, just more freck nonsense. And now today, not just being a freck instructor having taught this class, but firsthand being a sales associate when I first got my license and realizing, I didn't even learn this from teaching post-licensing. It was me as a sales associate when I finally got around to taking post-licensing. What I realized is there was a lot of information I learned in that post-licensing course that were things that were my biggest takeaways from like this $1,200 sales boot camp thing that I went to. I took I paid for this $1,200 program. I had to do it multiple credit cards because I was just trying to make ends meet to get my business started because I had no idea what I was doing, and I finally had some training in front of me. My broker really didn't provide much training, so I had to go buy my own. And so I did that training, and that's one of the things that made me successful in real estate. But then come to find out, I took my post-licensing right before the renewal deadline, almost 2 years later from getting my real estate license, and I'm sitting there realizing there's a lot of information in here that I paid like $1,200 for this sales boot camp. And this was already something I was going to have to do anyways because it's a FREC requirement. In order for me to keep my real estate license, I've got to do this. And so it's became our mission at the Tampa School of Real Estate to make sure people know that this isn't just another FREC requirement. That's what I looked at it as, and it set me up for failure in the beginning of my real estate career. Now, there is no one thing that's going to completely put you out of business for the most part. There's actually a couple one things you'll learn about in your pre-licensing course. But as long as you're not doing anything illegal, you not having the right this or that or putting things together, you can make a lot of money. So there's a lot of upside potential that gives you a lot of cushion if you could start figuring this out and start making it work. But the thing is, you don't have to be on your own like I was. You don't have to be at a brokerage that doesn't provide any training. And even they actually did have some training in there, but it wasn't training that was relevant for me as a new agent. And what I found out really was the post-licensing course. So that is one of the biggest recommendations I have for you, is to take that course as soon as you've got your license. If you're planning on keeping your license more than 18 months, which once you earn your license, you should plan on keeping that license forever. Because yes, this is a 45-hour requirement, so it is shorter than your pre-licensing, but it's longer than continuing education. Continuing education, we've got this little book we could send you out with a 30-question open book exam. You send that 30-question book open, and you actually just submit it online now. You just submit your 30-question open book exam online. There's nothing timed at all, and you get 5 attempts to take that end-of-course exam. That gives you your 14-hour credit. So your 14 hours, which is going to be after this, it's not going to be as much of a revolutionary breakthrough as this course can be, but it's also really easy to complete. Whereas post-licensing, if you're new to real estate, our curriculum for post-licensing here at the Tampa School of Real Estate, and the curriculums do vary by school. It's not as strict of a syllabus as you have with pre-licensing for post-licensing. Post-licensing, we have a lot more freedom of what we could seek to get approved by the Florida Real Estate Commission that'll count towards post-licensing credit. Now, if you are taking any little CE courses at the Association of Realtors or anything like that, understand that continuing education credits are different than post-licensing credits. You must take a 45-hour specific post-licensing requirement from a FREC-approved real estate school. So you'll get training from your brokerage. Ideally, you're joining a broker. We'll talk more about choosing a broker, especially if you guys want to hear more about that. Let me know in the chat. We've got the chats loaded up here. So let me know what it is specifically you want to find out more about, whether it's choosing a broker, commission splits, getting started, marketing, getting leads, getting your first deals. These are all things I want to try to cram in today. Again, obviously the bigger curriculum that dives a lot deeper into all those topics is your post-licensing. But anyway, so this has to be done with a FREC-approved school for a FREC-approved 45-hour post-licensing course. So this is a very specific course. If you're looking for just general continuing education, one thing I will say is next week, this coming Wednesday, we have a very special Mortgage 101 for realtors. And this, we're live streaming it as well as hosting this in person. And if you do need CE credit, this will give you 3 hours of CE credit. However, I wouldn't do it for the CE credit. I would do it for the information. If you're in real estate or you want to get in real estate and you want to learn more about the funding side of actually getting deals done, and if you want to find out more about things such as being able to get a loan if you're self-employed or you have 1099 income, or what is required for different programs, the difference between a mortgage broker and a mortgage lender, that's all going to be covered on this Wednesday coming up, and we've got an amazing special on that right now. If you go to tsre.us, I think you get the live stream for like $17, and we actually even have a promo code on the website that'll make that even cheaper right now. So it's a little 3-hour course, nothing too crazy, but if you need to know the basics of mortgage, this is the course you need to take. And it will go more in depth than the financing that's covered in post-licensing, and this is actually taught by a very experienced mortgage broker who's actually an instructor with the Florida Realtors as well. So whether or not you need that CE credit, I would highly encourage you get signed up for it. It's only a $17 class. If you want to come in person, if you're local to Tampa, I think that is $27 for this special price for this December class that we've got coming up here in New Tampa. That's next Wednesday. It's at 1 o'clock. If you're in real estate or planning on getting into it, I would come and take this class because you'll learn a lot about the financing side of things, and it's right in our main office. So if you have any questions for our Tampa school advisors, we have a fingerprinting location on site here as well. A lot of information we could provide for you. So that's this Wednesday coming up. Give us a call, 813-333-2676 if you have any questions about that. But I would highly encourage you to take that class, especially with the pricing it is that we're offering on it now, because we want to make it something that makes sense for you, even if you don't need the CE credit. You know, you need the CE credit, the money. Okay, yeah, of course, I got to go buy the class. But if you're wanting to get information for this to better understand funding for yourself or for your clients, this is a very essential class to take. And a lot of times you may join a broker that'll bring in different vendors or have different types of trainings to help you understand the full circle of real estate. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about in choosing a broker. But that's really why I can't stress this one enough, and where we're spending so much time just on this concept here at the plan, is everything that comes after is based upon this. There's going to be a lot of decisions you'll have to make, a lot of choices, a lot of responsibilities that you have to consider potentially. And if you don't have a plan, you're likely to burn yourself out. You're likely to confuse yourself. You're likely to send yourself running around in circles if you don't have an intentional plan of action. So again, that post-licensing course is a great program to be able to accomplish that. And on top of that, now when you go do your broker's trainings, because as a new agent, you should be choosing a broker that provides training. This is going to help all your brokers' training make a lot more sense. That's one of the things that we find as a real estate school, is that there is a disconnect from most brokers and new agents, just because once you kind of cross over to the dark side, as they say, and you're practicing real estate on a daily basis, you tend to a certain degree, lose a little bit of a touch with what it's like to be somebody transitioning from like trying to quit a full-time job and go into real estate. I mean, that was years ago for me, and every day that goes by, that memory comes a little bit foggier. And again, there's so much that we understand as a school helping people transition on a day-to-day basis. So reach out to us if you have any questions we could help you with here. Let's go to the chats here. Carol, how to choose a broker and getting started. Yep, so we'll talk about that, because choosing a good broker is one of the best ways to get yourself started on the right foot. And if you're not sure what would be a good broker, what you need from a broker, that's where, again, you got to have a plan. Because in this plan, let's go back over here. So let's talk about what should be in your plan. And we'll start off just with some basic questions you could be asking yourself. So first one, super simple. Let's start easy and we'll break this down deeper. Full-time. Are you part-time? Do you want to just do referrals? We just got one on effing referrals. This is going to be the most amount of time you're spending. This is going to be the least. So depending on how you're trying to balance in starting your real estate career with what you're doing currently, because maybe you're going to try to do this part-time. And there's a lot of really great brokers out there specifically for agents that are part-time. But at the same time, there's a lot of brokers that won't even consider you if you want to do part-time. So what's important is that you understand your plan and then choose a broker that is a best fit for your plan, rather than just making some sort of emotional decision because you know a friend or family member works for this place or that place. Most brokerages offer some sort of incentive for you recruiting other agents. So keep that in mind when someone's talking to you. Oh yeah, you got to come check out blah, blah, blah Realty. Oh no, you got to come to blah, blah, blah Realty. You got to come to ABC Realty, XYZ Realty, EXP Realty, KW Realty, CB Realty, C21 Realty. There's usually some sort of incentive somewhere that's the reason why they're out there waving the flag of their brokerage. Maybe they do just truly love the brokerage. But even if they do truly love the brokerage and it's a great fit for them, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a great fit for you, because your plan, your long-term goals could end up being significantly different than who it is might be recommending you this certain brokerage. And so that's what's really important about this to really, that's the make it or break it for your success, is that you choose a brokerage that is a good fit for what you're trying to do with your real estate business. And you know, the old school way of choosing a broker would be that you'd have to go into this is how I chose my broker. It was a close person to me that recommended this brokerage. It had worked great for them. So I was like, okay, well, it's obviously going to work great for me. But there were some big differences I realized in hindsight. I was a new agent, whereas that person, when they joined that company, they weren't. They were already well established and they were recruited in there and they did great. But they also did great for recruiting. Not even so much for selling real estate, but more recruiting was their claim to fame. And so I was like, all right, well, let me try to recruit, because everyone else is making some money with recruiting. And if I recruit somebody that sells something, then I get a kickback somehow. And so I focused on that, and it was a huge distraction. And I was looking for things to distract myself with, because the brokerage wasn't a good fit for me as a new agent. It didn't have the training that I needed. I wasn't provided leads. I had to go buy my own leads. I wasn't even provided a website. I had to get my own website, and that cost big money for one of these property search websites where it dynamically shows all the different properties from your MLS. I was paying for the MLS, the realtors, on top of that my own website, on top of that my own contact manager, on top of that my own advertising for leads, and all this stuff was adding up. And in hindsight, I know now that there's brokers that include basically everything as like a turnkey system. And if you're looking to go all in on real estate, that's going to be one of the best places to start, is a brokerage that's going to offer you as much of a turnkey solution as much as possible. A turnkey solution that fits your plan, that checks the boxes of the things it is that you're looking for. Now, let's talk about this one real quick here while it's on the screen, referrals. This is going to be a lot easier for the turnkey. So this is your easiest, least amount of work, because you're not actually selling real estate, which doesn't require you to join the realtors. It's going to be your lowest cost option. And here's what I would recommend, because you can make a lot of money with referrals if you lean into the concept of referrals. If you're starting part-time, even if you're actually working in real estate, consider yourself a referral agent. Think of yourself as a referral agent of who can I make connections with, because that's the quickest, easiest way to make a pretty good amount of money in real estate. You don't do the deal, you get them connected with somebody more experienced, more confident, more expertise, and also maybe more time, or that's closer to where you're located. I've seen new agents take deals all the way across the other state because they're desperate for business. They're like, well, I want to get my first deal. But now, while they're commuting back and forth 5-6 hours away to service this listing, they're missing opportunities because they don't have time to take advantage of business that may be more readily available. So that's why I would highly encourage each and every one of you to consider referrals. Even if you're doing real estate full-time, you should be taking advantage of referrals for any business that, again, is outside of your market. Because if you're spending time in your car driving back and forth to the other side of Florida, there's no reason for that. You could get like 25, 30, maybe even 50%, it's negotiable, of the total commission for just making the connection to another agent who's going to do the deal. And if that's what you want to do, you don't need to join the realtors, you don't need the MLS, which basically cuts your cost to keep your license down to almost nothing. You'll have your renewal fee every 2 years to the DBPR, which is about $50, and whatever your brokerage, your referral brokerage costs, typically maybe about $100 to $200 a year to join a referral brokerage. But the catch is, if you're at a referral brokerage, you're not a practicing realtor, and you're not allowed to practice real estate. Whereas when you venture up here into part-time and full-time, now you could also practice real estate. But like I said, if you're going to do this part-time, consider yourself almost like a referral agent who's also able to jump in the deep end of the pool if they want to. If you've got a deal of maybe a close friend or family, because here's a tip for you. As a new agent, your most likely source of your first deal is going to be from your sphere of influence. My wife got her first deal from her sphere of influence. A lot of my agents at my brokerages get their first deal from their sphere of influence. And beyond that, there's actual stats that say I think about 80% of deals for new agents come from their sphere of influence. So from somebody that you know, and it might not be your friend or family member, but it could be somebody that your friend or family member refers to you. That word referral is magic. It's not even just when you're just getting started, but throughout your real estate career. So that's where you want to think. Think about referrals, even if you're full-time practicing or part-time practicing, because what that's going to do is it's going to open your mind up to opportunities. Because here's what's going to happen as a new agent. When you're a new agent, you don't have as much confidence. And has anybody ever heard of that, the thing imposter syndrome? Has anybody ever heard of that, what imposter syndrome is? Imposter syndrome, and looking back in hindsight, I would say I definitely had some imposter syndrome when I was getting started, because let me share with you my story. I had a client from my sphere of influence. I probably could have did a deal with him if I was a little bit more confident in what I was actually doing. And I was out there showing them properties, but it's almost like in the back of my head, I was trying to like actively sabotage the deal. And you might be saying, well, why would you do that, John? What, are you stupid? Kinda. I was stupid for not joining a brokerage that had training. I was stupid for not being proactive in trying to find a good brokerage. But also the time that I got into real estate, brokerages weren't as forthcoming about what you're getting yourself into. There is definitely a higher degree of transparency in 2022 and now heading into 2023 than we've had many, many years ago. But again, getting back to me and that imposter syndrome, I was showing properties to these people and I could tell they really wanted it, but there were little things I would do to almost like I'm talking them out of a deal, or almost like, well, are you sure you want to do this? And here's one of the things I know in hindsight. I actually kind of figured it out in the moment there that I didn't know anything about the offer. So when they finally did ask me to make an offer on a property, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Let me get over to my office. I'll get the files, and we should be able to e-sign that, because e-signatures have been a thing for a very long time. But the reason why I was even suggesting that, or I was saying, well, if you don't, and it was still so new, so a lot of people weren't even cool with e-signatures. So I was like, well, I can come drop by the paperwork for you. I don't want to keep you busy here. I got to talk to my broker, go over a couple of things. I had no idea how to write an offer. And so imagine how many opportunities I missed out on just because I wasn't confident that I could actually serve my client. So you need the knowledge, you need the training to be confident. And if you don't have time to commit to taking in that knowledge and training, And I'm not even just talking about the post-licensing. That's a great start. But beyond post-licensing, if you're new to real estate, you're still going to need a broker that provides more training. And there's going to be required trainings from the Association of Realtors if you're an actual practicing agent, for MLS compliance, for realtor ethics, for so many different things. So it's going to not just be a money commitment, but a time commitment as well to be a full-time practicing agent, or even just doing it part-time. Whereas referrals, you don't have to be the expert. You connect them with an expert. You then pocket whatever percentage it is that you agree to. Now, this does have to be through a broker. You have to have an active real estate license. If you want to make sure you can do this legally, or how you can do it legally, reach out to us, 813-333-2676. But typically what you would do after you get your license is you would join a referral brokerage. And a referral brokerage, a lot of them are places where they call it, like, you could park your license, or refer and earn, park and refer, all kinds of like little cheesy names like that, and some not cheesy names, but there's all kinds of different options. And like a lot of these brokerages, there's a lot more information available on the internet. So the back in the day, what would have to be if you wanted to join a brokerage, you'd have to go interview that broker. And that's what I did. I was recommended a broker by someone close to me, so I set up a meeting with him, and I met him in his office. It was a very awkward, very brief meeting, and the pitch was basically, well, you know the deal, right? Yeah, well, yeah, of course, I know the deal. That was the pitch. You know the deal, right? What do I say? I was like, sure, yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, the person that referred me, give me a basic understanding. It's like, oh yeah, you start off at 70-30, but you sell so much, you can go up to this, and blah, 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 blah. And just a couple little basic things. And plus, you don't even need to really even sell. You just recruit people in, you can earn 10%. Okay, that sounds good, yeah. That was what somebody told me. I meet with a broker. Well, you know the deal, right? Yeah. And look, here's the thing. If you're to meet with a broker today, that might still be the conversation you have, because a broker's time is valuable, especially if this is a broker of a growing organization. If that brokerage is growing, I could promise you that that broker's busy. Not with servicing his own clients. That would be one of the things I would recommend steering away from as a new agent, is working in a competing brokerage. And a competing broker isn't necessarily someone you're having to worry about them taking your deals. Maybe it is, I don't know. But let's set that aside. It's not about them taking your deals. It's about them not being available or having the resources to help you grow your business. The brokerage I joined, the broker was a competing broker. It was a franchise business model. So the broker had bought into this franchise. And, you know, the franchise had some decent little things. That's what had this whole recruiting residual system and all that other stuff. And it was a 70-30 split. So, I mean, that wasn't too bad. I mean, there's definitely lower splits out there. But at the same time, there were also 100% agents at 100% commission brokerages. But the 100% commission split, typically you don't have as much value as what you get at a split brokerage, especially as a new agent. Because if you need training, if you need help, if you need support, that's usually going to be more so found at a split brokerage. However, that's not always true. That's just more of a generalization. So how do you research? How do you choose a broker? Set that up on the board here. So you want to have a bit of a plan. Full-time, part-time, let's go back over here. A dollar figure in earnings. You want to have a dollar figure of how much you have to invest. How much money you are able to invest. Because if that money to invest doesn't include at least the $800 or $1,000 or however it might be for your first year of board dues, that's where you want to start with a referral brokerage. You might want to go get the MLS and all the access and have all the neat, shiny tools that you get as a realtor. But if you don't have the time to commit to actually using that real estate license, that will become a waste of money. But where you don't have to worry about that waste of money is joining a referral brokerage, because now you could activate your license. This will earn you credit towards becoming a broker, but you could also still have the opportunity to make money without having to join the realtors. And now when you're ready to take the next steps of actually practicing real estate, you could change from that referral brokerage to a brokerage where you're actually able to practice real estate. But if you do have more money to be able to cover the Association of Realtors, to get yourself started, You could do this part-time or full-time actually practicing real estate. So that's going to be definitely important, the money commitment, but then also going back to, are you doing this full-time, part-time? What is your time commitment? How much time will you be able to commit to your business on a daily basis? Because your business needs daily attention if you want to actively grow it. Every day you take off, your business isn't growing, it's shrinking. So every day that goes by, and there's a lot of things you could do down the road to build it bigger than yourself and multiply your efforts and automate a lot of things. But when you're getting started, it definitely does take a larger commitment to get things off the ground and get things running. But compared to starting pretty much any other type of business out there, there's no business that has as much upside potential as real estate, that's as easy to get into, that's as sustainable as real estate is. You know, you see these fads come and go of things like crypto, and I know crypto is not necessarily a fad, but the hype around it kind of is. And the ability to make a lot of money very quickly through other means, that comes and goes. But real estate is the tried and true method of every single person who has any level of considerable wealth. Is some part of their portfolio includes real estate, if not a large part. Excuse me. You know, everybody's getting the allergies, getting the sniffles in the air. It's that time of year where we all don't feel that good and get kind of sick. And I'd like to sing. But anyways, let's get back to real estate. So you want to have a plan. Number 2, choose the right broker. And to choose the right broker, you need to understand your plan, what you're wanting to do. You might not have every detail figured out. You don't need to go super detailed, but some of these big questions, like what's the money commitment? What's the time commitment? You want to get that down, ideally on paper, so you could revisit back to that and weigh your options for moving forward. This is how you most are going to choose success. So number 1 thing over anything else is it needs to fit your plan. If the brokerage does not fit your plan, let's say you want to do this part-time and they only take full-time agents, it doesn't fit your plan. Quit considering them if it doesn't fit your plan. There's plenty of other brokers out there. You might say, oh, well, but this has got my close friend to add it. Okay, well, are you willing to quit your job and go all in on your best friend? If not, then maybe that brokerage doesn't fit your plan, and there might be a better fit for you that does fit your plan. And again, if you don't have a plan, let's get a plan. Let's get you in post-licensing. Let's get you through that course so you'll learn the basics. And you might be saying, well, I don't want to invest the money in post-licensing yet. I want to see if I can get a deal first. You're doing it backwards. You think you're going to stumble through a deal not knowing what to do? Yeah, your broker might have some trainings, but that's not going to make as much sense, if any sense, if you don't have a firm understanding of the basic fundamentals of real estate. And that's what post-licensing is designed to do. And if that... We have that course available, I think as cheap as like $100 right now, plus the coupon code that we have available until midnight right now at TampaSchoolRealEstate.com. So if a $100 course that's required to renew your license is that big of a concern, I would not encourage you to join the Realtors or the MLS or anything that's going to require those larger commitments. Take the smaller commitment and do referrals. Do referrals and try to make some money off of that. And now ramp that up. Go get a $2,500 check because you get 25% of a $10,000 commission. Get that $2,500 check, and now you've got money to invest in yourself, to join the Realtors, to commit a little bit more time to learning this. So you got to pick a brokerage that fits your plan. And that's why I keep just mentioning the referrals, because there's so many people that don't realize the potential that exists in referrals. Think they do have to go join a full-service brokerage and pay the MLS dues and do all these other things to be able to call yourself a realtor, only to find out you don't have the time to be able to commit to make this dream a reality. If time is of the essence for you, that's again where you want to choose a brokerage that's going to be a better fit. And the referral brokerage are also lower cost, lower commitment of time, lower cost. As you want to increase your commitment, that's where you'd consider maybe, again, joining the Realtors, becoming a full-service practicing agent, even if you're doing that part-time. I would say especially if you're doing that part-time, because if you're doing this part-time, that means you're doing something else full-time. You're doing something to make money, and if not, let's not call it part-time. Let's call it full-time if this is your only one end-all be-all thing. But when you don't have time to commit to this business, it does make it difficult to actually serve your clients if you can't meet with them or talk to them on the phone. Yes, you could schedule it around your schedule, but if you don't have time available, how are you going to do that? Well, you don't do that. You refer it to somebody who does. And they could provide probably a better service than you could because they're just more available, maybe more experienced, maybe more knowledgeable. Maybe it's a more specialized deal. I've also seen agents try to get themselves wrapped up in a super complex like commercial or business deal or something like that when they haven't sold anything before. And if you haven't sold anything and now all of a sudden you're trying to do one of the most complicated real estate sales transactions there are, you're probably going to disappoint somebody. You're going to disappoint maybe yourself. You're going to disappoint the clients. You're going to disappoint your broker, if not all of the above. So if you don't know what you're doing in any of those arenas, you could still realize the opportunity by referring it out. And even if you're practicing real estate full-time, you're maybe full-time, you're a realtor. Let's say you sell a lot of single-family homes, but now you get this commercial deal on your lap. Oh, wow, that could be exciting, a commercial deal. It's a little bit bigger commission. Oh, yeah, I could help out with that. But then you find out you don't have the commercial tools. You don't have the commercial resources. You don't have the commercial knowledge. So now you're doing a disservice to your customer when in reality, if you referred that business out to somebody who is a specialist in commercial, that deal's a lot more likely to go through, and now you're getting 25% of something instead of 100% of nothing. And that's one of the things I would say here as it relates to splits. Let's put that on here because I know that's the top concern for most people when they're choosing a broker is what are the commission splits? So the number one thing to consider with commission splits is you get what you pay for. That's not 100% across the board to mean that, oh, well, this is 70%, so it obviously is going to give me more than this brokerage who pays me 80%. That's not, but the sliding scale, there's going to be brokerages that have a higher split that provide you more value. And the split is the commission. So let's say there's $10,000 in gross commission. If there's an 80-20 split, that means you get $8,000, the broker keeps $20,000. It might be 70-30 where you get $7,000, the broker keeps $3,000. It could be 50-50 where you both get $5,000. It could be 40% to you, 60% to the brokerage, especially if you're part of a real estate team. That's where you can expect below 50% splits going to you. And at the same time, you go all the way from probably as low as 15% to you. And that would be like if you're on like a mega team or something where you're doing some sort of small part of the deal. That might be where you're just cut in on, let's say, 15% of the deal. But on the other side of the spectrum here, you might be cut in 100%. And you might say, well, how does 100% brokerage make any money then? Well, there are a lot of different ways. They have probably some sort of transaction fee that's either paid by you or paid by the client, or maybe one that's paid by both. Maybe there is some sort of monthly fee. Maybe there's some sort of initiation fees or anything like that. Maybe there's some license renewal fee. This would all be outlined in their contract. So as a real estate professional, you're typically an independent contractor, and you'll have an independent contractor agreement that will outline your commission splits, any sort of fees, errors and omissions insurance, and whatever it is that broker may be providing. You'll typically be able to see that summarized in that contract there, as well as, again, whatever fees might exist or anything that it comes out to. Now, if I were to ask you what one would you rather have, would you rather have 15% go to you or 100% go to you? I'm sure you'd pick 100%. But why would you pick the 70% option then instead of the 100% option? If you want more money, why wouldn't you just pick the 100% instead of 70, or let's say 80, or let's say the 60, or the 50-50, or whatever it might fall at here of whatever percentage of the money it is you get? Why wouldn't you just go after the 100%? Because with the lower split, there's typically less value. It might not have the same level of support, the same level of involvement. Because over here, if there's somebody else that's other people that are earning 85% of the rest of the commission, well, they probably care more about the deal even than you. But when you're earning the 100%, there's probably no one that cares about the deal more than you. And so there's less value you're typically getting. You go down here where you're having a lower commission split, you're usually getting more tools, more resources, more support. That's not 100% true across the board, so that's why, again, you want to do your research, find out what that brokerage provides, and the golden rule, does it fit your plan? Does it make sense for what it is that you're trying to do? And once you've chosen that broker that is the best fit for you, you want to go all in. Because when you know it's the right broker, you can go all in. Now, you could be doing this full-time, part-time, or referral time, going all in. What I mean by that is you're going all in, that you're going to make yourself the professional that you need to be to accomplish the goals in your plan. Your commitment to go all in isn't going to be truly a commitment unless you have the right information, unless you're in the right environment. Because if you're second guessing your knowledge, if you're second guessing your guidance, if you're second guessing what your brokerage provides, if you're second guessing your offering, you're not going to be as successful as when you go all in. And number 4, to be a little bit more specific here, for getting your first deal, and actually we'll say this here. No, we'll do this. Focus on your sphere. Your sphere doesn't have to be in Florida, because what can you do? You can refer. Again, full-time, part-time, or referral time, you can refer business and get a piece of the deal all over the world. Now, you're only allowed to practice real estate in Florida with your Florida real estate license. However, you could refer business all over the world. So you might have family members out of state, in other countries, anything like that. You could earn referral money as long as you have an active license here in Florida. And there's referral broker. If that's all you want to do, they're going to be much more lower cost and much less commitment on your part, so you could earn this referral money. So if you're a well-connected person, you could really take advantage of that. But let's say you feel like you're not as well-connected. Who in your sphere knows somebody that could use your services? Because chances are, typically when you're less connected, you maybe have a little bit deeper relationships with fewer people rather than shallower relationships with many people. But regardless of how deep your relationship may be with people, you want to grow your sphere. You want to build the relationships, reintroduce yourself as a real estate professional, and find a brokerage that is geared toward helping you get your business off the ground as a new agent, that is going to provide you the tools to be able to focus and hone in on your sphere. Yes, I would say to choose a brokerage that provides leads as well, but that's not going to be the top of the list. Matter of fact, I would say leads are the bottom of the list, because you've already got leads in everyone it is that you know. Everybody that you're friends with on social media, or that you follow in some way or the other. Any family members, any past coworkers, any phone numbers in your phone, anybody you meet on a daily basis, because not just my stats, but stats from the realtors and worldwide, most deals for a new agent is going to come from your sphere of influence. So focusing on your sphere of influence is going to be your best chance at getting business. And it might not come from somebody in your sphere of influence, but somebody that your sphere of influence refers to you. But they need to know that you are their go-to real estate professional before people will start referring you business. So it's all about presenting yourself as that expert. But if you don't go all in, you won't look like an expert. If you don't go all in, you won't feel confident that you're the expert. And then when you talk to your sphere, no one's going to think that you're the professional they need to send business to. That's what you need to change. That's what going all in will allow you to change. It'll help you change that perception of yourself, that people look to you as a knowledgeable real estate professional rather than just some guy or girl that they know. So look, that's about all the time we've got for today. I know this one went a little long, but I hope it's had some beneficial value for everyone in here. Like I said, if you're looking for a more in-depth curriculum that's actually a 45-hour course, that post-licensing course, we have a video-based on-demand program that'll help guide you through the need-to-know essentials of starting your real estate business. One other thing I'd recommend that's time-sensitive, because it is next week, next Wednesday at 1 p.m., Robert Paredes, Flux Funding, the Mortgage 101 for Realtors in our new Tampa office. If you want to come in person, I believe that's $27 right now online, only $17 if you do the live stream option. It's a 3-hour course that's going to teach you the fundamentals that you need to know as a realtor about getting your clients funded, as well as even getting yourself funded if you're looking to buy a house for yourself. This is especially important if you ever want to work with anybody who's self-employed or anybody that might have not as easy of a financial file. Like if somebody's got W-2 income and they've got multiple years of it, they got a great credit score, that's an easy deal. But then what about the people that are self-employed? They get 1099s, that might not have a direct actual paycheck. Maybe they are a business owner. These are people typically with access to a lot of money, but if you don't line them up with the right opportunities, you can't get a deal done. So really important for you to have great contacts, great networking opportunity. If you have any questions about that or any of the courses that we offer, 813-333-2676. I'll put this up here one more time as well. So this is our Success Center. Text that phone number, call, text 813-333-2676, text the word success, and we'll send you updates. But you could call or text us anytime, anything on that phone number, get connected with one of our advisors confidentially. So 813-333-2676, text the word success so you get the updates. It's about all the time we've got for today. We're going to be back on next Wednesday. We'll be live for Ask the Instructor at 12 noon. I want to thank you for tuning in today, and I will see you all next week. So you just got your real estate license. How can you jumpstart your real estate business? The number one thing you should do before you do anything else is post-licensing. Now look, this is already a requirement, so you're gonna have to do it anyways, but here's why you wanna do it early. The sooner you do post-licensing, the sooner you're gonna learn the real-world concepts in post-licensing that will help you create a business plan, that'll help you plan for your success in real estate. Post-licensing is all about real-world topics that are usable, that'll help you grow your real estate business. And at Tampa School of Real Estate, we have the best post-licensing courses around. Find out more about how post-licensing can help you jumpstart your real estate career. Go to postflorida.com. Have you been thinking about getting your Florida real estate license? Look, the process is probably easier than you think. We break it down step by step, how much it's going to cost, what it is that you need to do to get your Florida real estate license. Find out all of that and more at licensefl.com. Again, that's licensefl.com.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate.